Hi everyone, I am Paolo, CTO and founder at Contentful. I am very excited today because it's a great day for composable content. In fact, I'm here with Andy Kaiser, CEO and founder at Ninetailed, a personalization solution for composable content. Ninetailed today is announcing its funding round. Hi Andy, I'm glad to have you here.
Hi Paolo, nice to be here.
Cool. And yeah, maybe Andy, you could introduce yourself a bit so who's listening gets to know you.
Yeah, well, as Paolo said, Andy Kaiser, CEO and co-founder of Ninetailed. Ninetailed is a personalization and testing platform for the composable architectures. And to give you a little more background about myself, I worked in different digital agencies, long years for customers, enterprise customers like Coca-Cola, Grupo Fiat, and a lot of fintech, finance institutions. And it was funny because always it was like, okay, let's start the digital strategy with a website. And because of this, I went very fast into also how to manage content and how to manage websites in a scalable way. And was partner also from enterprise CMSs, also consultant for enterprise CMSs multiple years. And I'm originally from Spain, right now in Spain, visiting the family. And yeah, good parts of being remote and being able to work from different parts. And yeah, moved to Berlin 10 years ago. And in Berlin, I worked at different companies like Idealo in leadership positions around data. So my background, basically product data and a lot of marketing.
Perfect, thank you. And yeah, maybe now you can connect, I guess it's also related to your experience, where the motivation and the idea of working on Ninetailed came from, like what did get it all started?
Yeah, and I think as usual, there's not only one reason, there's a lot of different reasons, a lot of different multiple sources of cases. As I mentioned, I work in digital agencies for corporate or enterprise customers, and personalization was always kind of a need, was always a desire. And on the other hand, testing was always part of how I see digital experiences. I haven't said it, but I also studied psychology, and in psychology, it's very important how you work with an experimental way, how you prove things, how you work with hypotheses. So that's also why I worked a lot with other providers. I will not name them, but one of the first testing providers. And I introduced them in one of the companies I worked there, and it was like mind-blowing, being able to understand better the experience, to understand better what was working, and especially to improve the experience, to improve the products, the product around the customers. And that was part of this motivation, but I think the moment when we really decided to create Ninetailed was after we sold a previous venture. In that venture, we worked a lot with very personalized landing pages. So basically landing pages which had the same intent as the user searching. And we saw there incredible numbers. So just adding this kind of, let's say, personalization to the landing pages, we saw increases of 40% of the or reduction of 40% of the CPA. So better numbers, cheaper acquisition, and so on. And what we did after selling this company, we saw like, okay, why not? We're using this kind of modern tools like Gatsby, like Contentful, and there is no way of adding really personalization, and there's no way of adding testing in this kind of architectures, in this kind of composable architectures. And we were 1 year speaking with different customers, with different pilot customers, understanding what the competitors were doing. And then we founded Ninetailed last year. We launched our product. And with the launch of the product, we also partnered with Contentful, more or less from I wouldn't say day one, but it felt like day one.
Yeah. That's great to hear. And actually, can you tell? You said you've seen solutions that are working somehow for the old world of content management made in a traditional way, and you started thinking about how the availability of API first content platform actually allowed to somehow review and reinvent how personalization and experimentation is done. Yeah, maybe. Could you talk about that? Like what you thought were the new possibilities of doing personalization in this new world of content platforms?
Yeah, and there are again multiple reasons, but one is really to make personalization, and I'm focusing more on personalization because there's where Ninetailed started. To make personalization, you really need to combine data, customer data, and content, and that's what we're doing with Ninetailed. And if we think about how content was managed or how content has been produced since the beginning,
sure,
I'm a little older, so I started also as a web developer, just coding HTML, and then it was really no CMS. You were like coding every time there was a change. You had to go to your HTML file, change the line of I don't know, the headline or whatever, upload it to the FTP. So it was like a long process, and you needed a developer. Then really the CMSs changed everything, and but the CMSs were always with the thinking of having websites, web pages.
Sure.
And there was like this new wave of how to say, like, of what the reality was. Really, it's like everyone was on the mobile, so you had to have like a content management system which was also compatible with mobiles or apps, etc. And that's where we are now. It's like really you have to have an API first approach to solve these kind of different channels. To solve the different kind of use cases. But most importantly, and I think that's where our API first content platform, but especially Contentful, makes it really different, is not thinking about content as a website or as a page. It's really about thinking it in a component perspective, and being able to match it to your needs. And that's what really changed my perspective, because I was always working in different parts in a digital journey, let's say so, and it was like always about pages. But then really working on a component level, it opened my mind in the meaning of that's really what you need also to make more personal or personalized experiences. Not see everything as one page. It's really about seeing it on a component base.
Yeah, I guess also in the previous approach, it was a bit more like personalizing markup sort of way of thinking, like, my page is built this way, so I can build it in a different way, versus instead thinking, okay, what's the structure and the logic flow that I'm going to put my user through in a personalized way, which is obviously a big shift. Yeah, and that's obviously a great innovation that Ninetailed brings to the market. And yeah, maybe you mentioned, you started not only day one, but almost day one publishing Ninetailed as a Contentful application. Can you talk a bit about this decision, like how it was taken and what it meant for you to take it?
Yeah, here again, it was, we are very customer focused and customer centric company. So basically here it was also about analyzing what our customers and what the market were using. And it was really about like, okay, to solve the use case of having this composable content, the company was, or the solution was Contentful. And at that time there was also the option of having like a Contentful app, and one important part also to understand what is a composable architecture at the end. It's like you have the data, you have the how to say, like you have the pieces in different parts, but you need also tools that bring together these different pieces, and more importantly, to enable in a no-code fashion this workflow. And with the ability of integrating through an app, into this workflow and into the content, etc., it was a no-brainer. It was easier for the users, and it was easier for us as a company as well. So I think it's really about this win-win situation. And this way, you have a platform which solves very good the use cases around creation content, management of content, with features but sometimes nobody thinks about, like publishing these kind of things. And this way you are part of the solution, and you enhance these solutions with solving another specific case. And this is at the end what a lot of people described as this best of breed approach. And, and composable is really again, composable is like something which is a big architecture, and you have this kind of best of breed tools, which, and that's the really neat thing and the really good thing about API first solution is, like, if they can work on the API level for the customers, and again, customer centric, it's the most important part, that you can work on this API level, because then you don't have, you can, how to say that, you can scale, you have future proof solutions.
Yeah, so you really felt, it could enable a great experience for customers, a great experience for you from the point of view of product development, and that's why you took the choice. And yeah, you've been already through different parts of how Ninetailed works and so on, but maybe you want to spend some minutes just giving a high-level overview of how the product works.
Yeah, and as an API-first company or API-first product, basically we have two APIs. One API we call the management API, and this API is an API to, how the name says, really to manage data through different sources. This could be a content source like Contentful, but also other kind of sources like customer data from a CDP like Segment, etc. And this enables through this API to work with all, let's say, so all the data around the management, or all the data you use in the workflow. Or in the creation workflow. On the other hand, and I think that's where we are really proud of, is what we call our experience API. And our experience API is the API which is really built to deliver the experiences. And when I'm saying delivering, it's not like being in front of the CMS, it's working with the CMS. And it's this experience API, what it does is identifies the user in less than 50 milliseconds, the context of the user, the behavior of the user. So it's some kind of an API call, and this API call gives information about this user. And again, this happens in less than 50 milliseconds. So this experience API is built really for latency, for performance, to deliver this instant experiences. And of course, behind this APIs, we have our infrastructure with all the event handling, let's say, so all the complicated magic, all the magic, exactly, all the magic in the background. And I think one important part, and why, for example, as a business as we are API first, a Contentful app is so important. It's really because how you get with an API to the non-technical users. And that's where these apps come very handy. And for example, our Contentful app integrates with our management API, and our SDKs integrate with our experience API. So what we like to say is we have our two APIs, which are our core products, and on top of this, we have built sub-products or other products to enable at the end different use cases, and to help our customers and the customers of our partners really to succeed. And yeah, as I said, we're really proud of our experience API because, for example, our infrastructure is in the 6th iteration. So we have really, yeah, 6th iteration in 1.5 years, really, from prototype to really MVP and full bloated API production. And it's the sixth iteration, and our infrastructure has been heavily, it's serverless and built on the edge. So that's something which we have been evolving.
Yeah. And I guess the built at the edge and 50 millisecond latency that you mentioned are two very closely related topics. And from what I understand, the 50 millisecond latency is a bit also your philosophy or something like that.
Yeah, it's how to say, like it's always the goal we had from the beginning, and from the beginning we always were there. Of course, with latency, it's important to understand that it's even always about delivering this instant experiences under 50 milliseconds and everywhere in the world. The reason behind this is we cannot how to say, like first of all, we cannot force the user to be always in front of a desktop with the fastest connection. So to give this personal experiences, you have to deliver it everywhere where you are. And I think that's also a great thing about content platforms. Content platforms are not anymore only websites. It's really about having like a lot of different channels. And we like to say, imagine you are in a car 100 kilometers per hour or 50, and you have your screen because it's an autonomous car. Then you have your personal experience through different parts of content, of different data points, etc. And that's where 50 milliseconds really important.
Sure.
And fun fact, we started always with this thinking of, I have to say at the beginning it was like 100 milliseconds, but then we went very fast into 50 milliseconds.
More aggressive,
Yeah, exactly. And the fun part is, for example, we did some research and some comparisons between tools like, I will not name them, but legacy tools based on the clients. So doing all the DOM manipulation, etc. And it's incredible because, as I said, I was I was introducing these kind of tools in customers, and a completely fan. And when we did the comparison, we saw, for example, that it takes up to 2 seconds really to load the whole page. So it's not that it takes 2 seconds, like you get like 2 seconds more of loading. And for me, it's like, okay, it's nice if you're on desktop, but not in and I think, as I mentioned, also from my infrastructure perspective, it's really heavily serverless, built on the edge, and this is again a mix of decision based on experience, based on where we are seeing where the technology is heading, where the modern tools and modern teams are working with, and it's incredible how everything is evolving on the edge in the last 2 years, or even the last 3 years when we really started with edge technology, and at the end, it's really to make feature-proof use cases from a customer perspective, and from a business perspective. At the end, it's really about scaling. So at the end, customers have no risk.
It is really ubiquitous performance, at scale that can be achieved with architectures which are again at the edge and serverless, and that's obviously super impressive, and I'm a big fan of the approach. And we talk about these amazing accomplishments so far, and today obviously announcing the seed funding round for the company, so exciting time. And maybe can you talk a bit about the funding round and future perspectives? What is gonna happen?
Now we're super happy of the seed round, and also super happy of our partners, of course, but what that it means. And first of all, it means from a company perspective and from a product perspective, we're growing our team. We just hired this and last week 4 new people on the company. And this means we're going to give better service. Not that we're not giving good service, it's just better to our customers and future customers. And of course, this means more product feature, etc. But more importantly, and I think that's why we see this so important right now in this time, it's really through this funding, so this seed funding, we really can also enhance our collaboration with our partners. So work more with our partners, really building a solution which, with our partners, solve the use cases of our customers or combined customers in this composable solutions today and tomorrow, which I think it's important.
Yeah, that's great. I can relate so much, of course, on the emotions and the significance of the seed funding round for when it happened for Contentful. Many pieces I can relate there. Again, very exciting to see the company growing and the future perspective, and of course, very important also the ecosystem play and playing with partners, and like you said, is a composable ecosystem, so everyone plays together, and the overall experience that is given to the user is done by many components that play extremely well together, like Contentful and Ninetailed. And I mean, you said, of course, growing team, exciting things ahead. Can you disclose anything about what is coming, or you want to keep everything secret so people keep on listening?
No, well, I cannot say everything, every details. Of course, we're working in new smart features, so they will coming soon. And I think the most important part, as I said, I cannot reveal the details, but it's also because we work with our customers and partners like Contentful, really to align these features with expectation and needs of modern teams. So it's also from, how to say, like agile product perspective to say now, this will come and then we see there's other needs. But basically, I think one important part is we just launched the new testing capabilities in our Contentful app. And this is also part of how we have been working with our customers. So a lot of these testing capabilities have been worked together with our customers, and of course with our partner Contentful. And I think that's more to come in the future.
Perfect. Thank you, Andy, for revealing something. Of course, we will stay tuned on the up to come news as your team grows and you get onto new pursuit for serving better our customers. And it's been amazing, of course, to have you here as a guest in this call. And as a Contentful founder, of course, I'm honored that the platform could help you getting started with the business and your solution, and that now we can actually work together with our shared customers. And I'm looking forward to see the partnership growing and of course to see how the two products together can keep on helping digital team making their content perform. Thank you very much, Andy.
No, thank you. And also as a founder, you inspire other founders, and I think that's also an important part of these kind of announcements, to inspire other founders that even in, how to say, like even in actual times, we have to believe in the future and we have to be innovative. And as you mentioned, making the digital teams really succeed in their strategy and to create great content. And looking really to a lot of news in the future.
Perfect. And inspiration is such a good note to close this. Just the inspiration is a chain, and we keep inspiring each other and continuing and bringing more people in the ecosystem and in the entrepreneurship. So that's a great note to close on. Thank you, Andy.
Thank you.